Hi everyone, I'm Sergey Gusev and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to paint a loose portrait in oils. So I'm going to paint this portrait. Of course, I remind you that you can download the full video tutorials from my webpage. This one is also available now to download. Before we start this tutorial, I want to remind you that for me it's really important to hear your opinion. So today I would like to hear from you which kind of technique you prefer for your own artworks, tight or loose, and what kind of technique you would like to watch on this channel. Tight paintings, loose paintings, or maybe both. So please leave your comments down there. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and you won't miss out on my new tutorials, and follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can also support me on Patreon. You can find all the links in the description under this video. Okay, if you're ready, let's get started. In the very beginning, I'm going to create a very abstract spot on my surface. And today I'm going to use MDF panel as a surface. You can use any other one you personally like and use to paint on. So first of all, I picked up a bit of my favorite medium. It's stained linseed oil mixed with Gamsol, and then I picked up a bit of burnt umber and yellow ochre, and we create a very abstract mess. And only after that we start sketching out. So we darkened our surface, and now it's ready for painting. I'm going to use very basic lines to outline the future composition and set up the very basic big proportions. It's going to be a quick painting. I think I'm going to spend about 3-4 hours on it. It's not going to be alla prima, but I'll tell you a little bit later about the technique I'm going to use today. So we, first of all, don't have time to make a good detailed underdrawing. Therefore, we start with oils right away. I highly recommend you to use a bristle brush when you work with oils, especially in the beginning. Later on, we can pick up our synthetic one, but not right now. Right now we are going to work on the very basic main big planes of the head. And of course, white bristles are very convenient for this purpose. Anyway, today I want to show you and explain how to paint a loose painting and what it means for me. Anyway, I'm going to talk about some basic stuff, of course, because we can't ignore the head's construction, we can't avoid it. We'll make a portrait, and therefore the construction is extremely important. Same with the tonal values. Therefore, right in the beginning, I want to tell you that it doesn't matter what kind of technique we use. We have to always remember and care for the head's construction or figure construction. And of course, tonal values, they are always primary. Not the colors will be secondary, but tonal values are extremely important for us. Okay, so first of all, I think the biggest difference from a tight painting is that we use bigger brushes, bigger brush strokes right from the beginning. We work on the big planes of the head, and we do not try to soften all the transitions between the brush strokes. So for me, a loose painting also means a very alive, sketchy painting with crispy, big, and sometimes quite thick brush strokes. I'm not saying we have to have them all over the painting. We can put some thinner layers in the background, in the shadows, which is a very basic rule we quite often apply when painting. We make backgrounds and shadows very thin. But in the lights, we can apply thick layers of oils. And this is a very important thing in loose painting technique for me. So first of all, bigger brush strokes. We don't try to soften all the transitions. We don't try to get some tiny details, and we even don't think about them, especially in the beginning. So right now you can see that I'm working on the very big planes, on the big spots of light and shadow. No eyes, no eyelids or more eyelashes, no. Just big spots. Second of all, we have to care for the edges. I'm sure you have heard many times about the edges in painting, how important they are, that we have to always keep in mind that we need to care for them. So what it means? It's difficult for me to explain it in few words. I think it's mostly about practice and painting. So the more you paint, the more you understand how it works. But I would say that the edges should be quite soft, and not just the edges, the outer edges of the form, but also the edges inside the form. So when you paint the nose, eyes, or lips, you also try to make the outlines very soft and sometimes even disappearing in the light or shadow. And therefore try to avoid really hard, strict, strong edges. So when you paint the nose, the lips, make them as soft as possible. Especially when we paint softer parts of the face. When we work on the bones, on the structure of the head, it's more important to have hard edges. Let's say when we work on the forehead, on the bridge of the nose, on the cheekbones, we can keep over there some hard boundaries. But the rest can be painted quite soft. And also, let's say the border between the hair and the background, it does not have to be very strict and visible. And in the shadow it can disappear, like you can see on my painting right now. Somewhere, especially when we have shadows, we keep it as one dark spot. We don't have to show the difference between the background and the hair in the shadow. We just paint a very soft spot, and because the hair is a bit different in color and in values from the background, we kind of see that there is a border, but it's almost invisible. So the hair in the shadow almost disappearing. And that's okay, because the more hard borders we have, the more it distracts us from the eyes, from the nose, lips, from the main parts of the portrait. Therefore, it's quite important to have a lot of softness around the face. I think it's also quite important for us to leave the painting slightly unfinished, especially the surroundings. So you don't have to finish up the backgrounds, the hair, clothes, and so on. Spend your time on the face, on the portrait, and the most important things. Usually, as I mentioned, we use this idea of loose painting when we work alla prima. Today, I'm not working alla prima, so I'm not painting in one sitting. But anyway, I'm painting wet in wet because I'm using quite thick layers of oils. They don't dry up immediately, and therefore I have some time to adjust the painting. And I think it took me about 3 days to paint it. So 3-4 hours I spent on the painting. And while I was working, it was still wet. So this is a benefit of using oil colors. We can adjust our painting within a few days. It's very convenient sometimes, especially when you do not have time to finish it within 1 to 3 hours in one sitting. Right now I'm almost done with this portrait. Again, you can watch the full version and download it from my webpage. Of course, I talk a lot more about this technique in the full video. Anyway, at the very end, as I said in the beginning, we can pick up a smaller brush, softer brush, synthetic one, just to make some final details. Well, usually I mean the eyes. We put some highlights on the corner. We correct a little bit here and there the eyes construction. I'm making the shadows on the eyelids, and I think that's it for today. I don't want to make a tight painting out of it, so we need to keep some looseness and nice crispy brush strokes. So thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe to this channel, put thumbs up, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments below. I wish you good luck with your own artworks and see you in my next tutorial.